Hi everyone, Jenny Boymal here from the Proven Group, and I am here with the amazing Greg Paget from Cleantastic. Now, I'm sure all of you know that I do have a special place in my heart for cleaning franchises, having had a background in that industry for a long time. So, Greg, I am super excited to be interviewing you today about leadership in franchising. Thank you for joining me.
Good to be here, Jenny. Good to be here.
Now, Greg, you're the franchisor of Cleantastic. You're based in New Zealand. You're also very involved in the New Zealand Association. Really excited to have you here. I know you've been running the show for 18 years, which is a very long time. And having a quick chat with you, the growth and excitement that you guys are experiencing at the moment is really very, very encouraging. Let's start with the first question. Can you tell me a little bit about what you see as the most important skills that leaders need moving franchise businesses into the future?
I have a very strong belief that it's all about people. And I know that's without trying to be cliche, but it is about building relationships. It is about understanding your audience, whether it's franchisees or your end client or even your support team. Good leadership to me, is around being able to work with people. It doesn't matter what system you've got, no matter how good or flawed it is. If you have a way of creating great relationships, you'll succeed. Now, we are very much a values-based business. And I love to quote Roy Disney, who is Walt Disney's brother, who says, if you know your values, every decision is easy. And to me, that's what it all comes back to. It's not about taking away the hard conversations and not having the sweeping conflict under the mat, but it's how you do it. And if you can come out of what is potentially an awkward situation, if you like, or something that's very confrontational, but you do it with respect and you do it with integrity and honesty, you can end up with a great resolution where all parties win. So to me, the answer around leadership, around successful leadership going into the future is all around people and being able to work with people and create good relationships.
I love it. I'm going to ask you a cheeky follow-on question because I really loved your response so much. That values-driven business, it's so important. I'm also part of a values-driven business, so I love it. What are the core values of your business?
Oh, I hate it when someone puts me on the spot.
Oh, sorry.
So they are there, and I'll try not to miss any. So we have 5 values, which are pretty common. It's around respect, honesty, integrity. I knew this was going to happen. Respect, honesty, integrity. Give me 1 second?
You'll fill them in later. That's Greg, while you're off catching them, I'll share with you. Have you got them?
Trust and reliability.
I love it. I
always struggle to remember them.
Yeah.
But they're actually personal values as well. And we really established them as a team probably in the last 4 or 5 years. And it wasn't really until listening to the likes of Simon Sinek, who I am a
big fan.
And it really came home to me that unless we have this very clear understanding across the whole business, then my vision will not always bear fruit.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have seen businesses over time where, the values aren't shared and, based on the leader of the organization, the business kind of is going like this and no one kind of knows which direction they're going in. So important. I'll share with you the Proven Group have a set of values, and we've also got an overarching kind of an ethos philosophy of how we do business. And that is summed up in 3 simple words, which is where everybody wins. And so when we're talking to people, making decisions and so forth, we always come back to, well, is everyone going to win? And if they are, then we can go forward. If they're not, then it's really not something that we do. So yeah, really, really love that values driven.
Yeah, still on that point about the win too, is that, and I think that's probably part of the answer to your question as well, is that I have a very strong focus on it being win-win. We haven't articulated it quite as you have, but it's certainly something that we talk about a lot within the business, because a lot of franchise systems are weighted very heavily in favour of the franchisor. And again, it comes back to, I guess, living your values. And our mission statement is around successful business owners, nothing to do with cleaning. And it's all about win-win, because the franchisee needs to win just as much as the franchisor does.
Could not agree with you more. I love it. I love it. So many comments. So many of these interviews flow into each other. I want to share them all with you. I will shortly. So yeah, absolutely love that. You know, everyone's got to be winning, and you're welcome to adopt our where everybody wins philosophy. Now, Greg, you know, you've had such an amazing career doing so many different things. Can you share who's influenced you most in your career? You already mentioned that amazing Simon Sinek. But who's inspired you and influenced you over the years?
I'm lucky to have worked in some of the biggest retailers in New Zealand. And had some good senior positions. So I was very lucky to work with a whole bunch of different people over many years. And there are some key individuals through that, especially early in my career, that had an influence on how I operated and just, I guess, created me, or helped create and define how I was going to operate. A couple of those people were founders of businesses, some of the bigger retailers who, I guess, when I joined, they were still very much hands-on. So there was just this, I guess, what do you call it, sort of environment where they were involved, and they wanted to succeed. And again, it all came down to how they worked with people and the relationships they had. So there's a whole bunch of different individuals there, and I guess through my career of many decades, I've just, like most people, I've taken the good stuff from different people, and I've also acknowledged the stuff I didn't want to do and have managed to park that. And when I come to a couple of very specific people, there is the likes of Simon Sinek that I mentioned, and I am almost a disciple. Lucky to have seen him live at IFA.
Wow.
And we even went to his smaller private session because I find him amazing.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't tell anything different than management books and gurus have over many years, but it's how he packages it. And it's how he packages it and how that relates to, certainly to me. So there's those sort of people. And I mean, strange as this may sound, I look up to my oldest brother as someone who is a decade and a half older than me. But as long as I can remember, I've looked at this guy because he just has a can-do attitude and very good with people, very good with building relationships with his family and friends and business. And while he's very retired now, it's something that's always been in my mind, that I just look at him and he inspires me. So it's not a big business guru. It's someone a lot closer to home.
I love that. I really love that. I love what you said about, you know, looking at the things that you like about people, but also recognizing the other things that I definitely don't want to be that. Yeah, really, really inspirational.
You can pick up something good from most people, or something that you want to use, not saying good or bad, but you can also see traits and behaviors from other people that you think, hey, I don't think I want to be that person.
Yeah.
And as long as you're conscious of that, it's about being consciously conscious of those things.
Definitely. I love that you get that inspiration from within the family. I think many people do. And you know, we're lucky when we're surrounded by role models who really have amazing skills that we can really kind of utilize ourselves and recognize. I love that. Greg, you've touched on this so much about the relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee and the importance of it. And I know that you're so passionate about the success of your franchisees. What do you see as the key skills that franchisees need to be successful?
Without repeating it, it comes down to how they build relationships. It comes down to their attitude. One of the benefits of what I've been doing probably for the last 6 months and have over the whole time I've been in the business, but I've dived right back into it, is recruiting our new franchisees, or certainly interviewing prospective ones. And I don't have a problem every now and then saying no to somebody, because if in my gut I don't think they're a right fit for the business, they're not going to be good for the system. And so those franchisees that have a great attitude, that know they are not going to take off on day one, they just cleaning, they're going to be slow, they're going to be, sort of need to be sort of plod quite a bit at the very beginning to become good. Provided they're open to that and they have that great attitude, they will be successful and they'll go on. And it's when you get franchisees or potential franchisees who only focus on the dollars, that could fall out the other end and forget about how they have to actually go through a bunch of things to get to that. We are very focused and talk a lot at we had a recent conference for our support team, and just after the Australian conference. And we talk a lot about the life cycle. We use Greg Nathan's model from the E Factor, and we talk about that at every conference, and we talk about it, how we can lift to the bottom of the curve, because the flatter you can make it, I don't think you'll ever totally eliminate it, because we live in the real world, but if you can flatten it by doing a bunch of, then your franchisees will be more successful. But you have to have the right ones in the beginning.
So true. So true. And I think, like all business models go through cycles, but I do think that right now there is a lot of focus in all groups I talk to about making sure they really select the right franchisees, because otherwise it really makes life difficult down the track, doesn't it? And
you have to, again, as franchisor, I have to ignore that, hey, here's a potential sale. I have to look at this, I guess, going back to Simon Sinek, having that the long game, or the infinite game.
Yeah, exactly.
I
love that.
It's you have to have longer term thinking.
Yeah, I really love that. And they also need to fit into that vision and mission and values of the organization. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Greg, so many insights. I love the work that you're doing and the passion that you bring to it, and really, really appreciate you joining me.
Very welcome. Good to catch up, Jenny.